Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a moment and so much has happened since I last uploaded my video, but I thought this was the right time to get back, and what better way to come back than to share with you guys my birth story. It's been such a roller coaster of a ride and I have so much to talk to you, so much to tell you, so I thought, let's do it. But before that, I want to give you a bit of a backstory so you can understand my birth story a little better. So I got pregnant in 2021 in July. That's when I found out that I was pregnant, and Kaushik and I were over the moon. We actually went through the IVF process, and I will share all about the IVF process in another video because again, there's so much to talk about that as well. So it'll just be easier for me to break down a lot of the things that have happened in shorter videos and share it with you. So after I got pregnant, my first trimester was amazing. I feel like in pregnancy, everybody has their own individual journey. For some people, the first trimester is great. For some, it's the second or third. It's so individual and so different that it's very hard to compare different pregnancies. But this is my story and my experience, and I may be all over the place in this video, so bear with me because there's just so much of information. But yeah, my first trimester went pretty well. I didn't get that much of morning sickness, occasional nausea here and there, but nothing significant. I almost felt like I wasn't pregnant in my first trimester, so which was great. Second trimester obviously was glorious, like they call it the golden period of pregnancy because you're in the best of health. My hair became really thick, I felt better. Kaushik and I went for a baby moon. We drove down to Santa Barbara, Santa Monica. We had a great baby moon, and if you follow me on Instagram, you would have probably seen it. So it was a great period, and we came back from our baby moon. We started prepping for the nursery, and then one day I kind of bled a little bit, and I think that was in my 24th week, but it was nothing significant. I was very scared obviously when the first time it happened. All sorts of thoughts were coming in my mind like any mother would be feeling. But luckily nothing happened. I went to the ER. They said it's a minor bleed, and that sometimes happens in pregnancy. I probably could be stressing out too much or overactivity, so I was told to kind of rest it up a bit more. Then I had my second bleed in a couple of weeks again, which was a little bit more than the first one. Again, I went to the ER, and luckily my doctor was on call that night, and she looked at me and she said everything looks fine, ultrasound looks fine. Again, it just could be overexertion, so rest it out. So after that, for a couple of weeks, nothing happened, and in my mind, I thought, okay, everything is great. I'm almost reaching my third trimester. What could go wrong, right? The baby is kicking, the baby is healthy, I'm feeling fine. Voila. Never say never. So come 1st January, I was perfectly fine. And then on the 4th January, on the 4th night, is when I woke up in the middle of the night. It was 2 a.m. and I felt really wet, as if like, I was soaked in something. And I woke up and I touched the bed and I saw blood. And I was just like really, really scared. And well, we went to the ER and I was admitted. I was in the hospital for 5 weeks. Again, what happened, how it happened, why it happened is something which is so detailed that I'll have to share it in another video. But long story short, I was admitted 5 weeks in the hospital. Luckily, nothing happened. The baby was safe. I was safe. Everything turned out okay. At 32 weeks, I was discharged. And then, at 36 weeks, I had my appointment with my doctor. And just keeping all the circumstances in perspective, it's best if I go for an induction. So my induction date was set for 37 weeks. At 37 weeks, I was admitted to the hospital. It was a Wednesday night.
Very nice. 9:50 p.m. on March 16th.
I just died and came back.
What just happened to birth?
Oh my god. They did my cervix check. Next 72 hours is going to be truly an experience.
Yeah.
I'm saying 72 hours now. Okay, I thought it'd be done and dusted in 24.
But I think we're going to prepare for 72 to 96 hours. Alright. Anything else you want to tell Nishka?
Nishka, please.
Be good.
Come out wiggly.
Swim.
Slide in.
Slide out. You.
Like, slide in a water park. Nishka, You wanna come out soon? Everyone was very excited in my family. They're like just waiting for the baby now to come in. I was very excited. After all that, I really wanted to see Nishka. I mean, we had already decided the name then, and I was like, I can't wait to meet my baby. And again, you know, a lot of you may ask me, why did I have an induction at 37 when I could have waited longer, considering I had 0 signs of labor. Just considering the scenario, my doctor said that at 37, you know, it's less risk. Plus, I will have the option of vaginal delivery. If for some reason something goes wrong and I start bleeding again later on, I will have to have a C-section. Which ultimately, spoiler alert, I did get a C-section, but I'll get to that in a bit. So I was admitted on Wednesday night. They gave me the medicine to soften my cervix. From there on, everything went great. I was supposed to dilate to 2 centimeters before they could induce me with Pitocin that would start the labor process. So Wednesday night was great. Kaushik and I chilled, watched movies. I was allowed to eat, which was fantastic. The hospital food was really good. So we really indulged. And then I think by morning, late morning, I was dilated enough, so they induced me. And then the whole day I was on the jumping balls. I was moving around just to make sure that I get, you know, dilated, and everything worked. You know, the doctor was surprised that everything was going on track. My water naturally broke after I had the Pitocin. I was dilating consistently, so it was quite a breeze. And then I think after my water broke in the afternoon, my contractions started. So once my contractions started, I was like, I always knew I'm gonna take the epidural. That was very clear in my birth plan. I'm not the kind of person who likes pain. I hate pain. I will, you know, do whatever it is to reduce pain. So I was very clear. I told my doctor I need the epidural. But once the contraction started, it was pretty manageable, and I was like, you know, I can do this. This is not that bad. I'll wait a while before I take the epidural. But when I was 5 centimeters dilated, oh my god, I cannot even tell you. The contractions were horrible, and I was just give me the epidural, just give me the epidural.
I cannot do this anymore. Take this thing off.
7:50 at March 17th.
Oh. Oh. Okay, I cannot it. Everybody and everything. I need the epidural. Give it to me.
You want to walk around first, right? You need to walk around first. You want to change your position. You can do it. If anybody can, it's you. Who are you? Who's my warrior?
Queen.
Who's my warrior?
Queen.
So the anesthesiologist came and he administered the epidural in me, which was really hard because I was contracting and he was telling me to stay still, but he was putting in the epidural and I couldn't move because I was contracting. So it was really hard and I was like screaming my lungs off. But luckily everything went well. Once I got the epidural, and know that once you get the epidural, they will insert the catheter, so you can't really move around, and you don't have, because you can't go to the bathroom. But I really liked it because I didn't have to go to the bathroom, and I was just laying in my bed, chilling, enjoying. So it was great because they gave me this button for the epidural. If I felt like the pain of the contraction was more, I could push it and I would get more epidural. Of course, it had a limit so that I couldn't over pump the medicine. And I really liked the process because I could still feel my contractions, but the pain wasn't there. It was there was no pain actually, it was just a pressure. So this was great because, you know, accordingly I could push. And then around late evening, night, you know, we started to push, and the doctor was very confident that we will have a vaginal delivery. I was pushing and, you know, it was okay, it wasn't that bad. Sorry guys, had to take a quick break because Nishka woke up. She's gone back to sleep. I have my baby monitor here. Like I was saying, you know, what was happening was, even though the entire induction process went very smoothly, when it came to pushing, Nishka was going in and out. Like she was coming, she was going, she was coming, she was going. And then the doctor couldn't figure out why was it taking so much time, because I was dilated well enough. And you know, she was right there, they could see the head, but it was there, but it was just not there. So then, you know, I had been pushing for a while now, so my doctor, obviously, she was really nice. So basically she told me that I was looking at a potential 3rd or 4th degree tear. So she's like, you can continue pushing, but do expect a tear. Or she said we could use a vacuum to kind of pull her out, or a forceps to pull her out. Again, that's not guaranteed that we'll be able to pull her out, just with the nature of how things were going. Or the third option was a C-section. Now, what I liked about the whole process was that I was given the option. None of the options were pushed onto me. I also had a very difficult pregnancy, as I told you, with my third trimester. So I did have a bit of fear of things going wrong. So at that call, considering that I would be looking at a third, fourth degree tear if I continued pushing, with the baby going in and out, the heartbeat fluctuating, everything, just something in me just told me I should just cut the process short and go for a C-section. And I think that's a call I made then and there. You know, sometimes you have all the variables, all the logic, everything, but something in your gut says this is what you need to do. And I just knew that opting for a C-section in that point of time was the right decision for me. So again, everybody has their own variables, everybody has their own comfort level and preferences. I was comfortable with it because when my bleeding happened, I was already mentally prepared for a C-section, just to cut any risk that I may face or any bleeding that I may face. So I told my doctor, let's do it. You know, I've been pushing for a long time. I was also very tired, and at that point I just wanted to see my baby. I wanted to see my baby so bad. So Kaushik and my doctor were like, take your time, there's no rush, you know, we can try again if you want to push for a couple more hours. But I knew at that moment that C-section was the right call for me. And once I made that decision, it was so easy, it was so quick. Since I'd already taken the epidural, you know, I was awake through my C-section. I could know what was going on, and which is what I wanted. And we went to the C-section room. Within 45 minutes, boom, boom, Nishka was out. Kaushik saw her first actually because he could see them taking her out, and there's usually a curtain between the mom and the stomach because so much is going on, they don't want to make you nervous. So Kaushik saw her first, and then they brought her to me, and I still couldn't believe that she was there with everything that had happened. It was a very surreal moment, and you know, the C-section process itself was very quick. It was painless. I was throwing up a fair bit during my C-section because of the medication, but it wasn't so much that it was preventing me from enjoying Nishka when she was born or anything else. Once the process was over, they took me to the recovery room, and I think a little bit my painkillers started dropping and I could feel the pain a little bit. I was still awake. I hadn't slept too well, so I was awake, and they, you know, obviously Nishka was brought to me, so I was nursing her and spending time with her. And we were in the recovery room for a while. Then I was wheeled back to my room. Perfect daddy. Saved my life.
Yeah. We're a team, right?
Yeah.
I know your body. I know your body. You're doing really well. You're very tired. It's gonna be hard for you. That's why I'm here to support you.
I think the hardest part is, you know, after your C-section, they come and they ask you to walk, which is very, very important, and I highly recommend doing it, no matter how hard it feels in that moment, because once they forced me to get up and start walking is when I actually started feeling better, and my recovery was better the next few days. So that happened. We came back home on the third day, and you know, I was in my recovery phase. Luckily Kaushik's parents, my parents, our doula, everyone was there to help support me. And you know, there's no shame in taking support or help, you know, especially as a new mom. I think we always focus on the baby once the baby is delivered, and people tend to forget the mom. And what is important is that the mom goes through an entire life-changing process. Her body, you know, goes through an entire intensive process. So mentally, physically is a lot. If possible, get the help and support you have, of friends, family, whoever is available. And I think I got very lucky in that space where everyone was there to help me out. Of course, I was still anxious and paranoid as a new mom, and I still wanted to spend maximum time with Nishka, but at least I could heal and recover. So pretty much, yeah, that's my birth story. I think by 3rd week I was back to normal. You know, everybody's recovery phase is again different. Some people take longer, some people take a shorter amount of time. Depends a lot on your physical, mental health, the support system you have, and everything. But yeah, this was pretty much my postpartum experience, and there were challenges on the way. There were hiccups, and there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. But now when I look back, I just see the good moments. I remember the hard moments and how it taught me and how it made me a stronger person. But I also look back with a lot of fondness, because that's what gave me my baby, Nishka. And I tell my husband I would go through that entire journey 1,000,000 times over if it means getting my daughter. So that's pretty much my birth story. And you know, everybody, again, I keep saying this, so overused, but it's so true that everybody's journey is so different, everybody's process is so different, but it's your story. You know, don't ever compare it. You know, and most importantly for all the moms out there, take your time. I think that's very critical. It's a lesson that I've learned through this process, is that take your time, because motherhood is very overwhelming, it's very challenging, but at the same time it's very rewarding. So take your time, enjoy your baby, but at the same time focus on yourself, your body, your mind, your soul, everything. So I hope this video gave you a glimpse into my story, and I would love to know your stories as well. Hope to share more videos on my bleeding, IVF process. There's just so much to share with you guys. I really cannot wait to make more videos, and I know I may have been a little over the place in this video, but it's, hey, I've come back on YouTube after such a long time, so cut me some slack, guys. But yeah, I'll see you next time in another video. Till then, take care and lots of love.